What's up, witches? It's me, Luna, and I'm shooting this on October 31st of 2025, so happy Samhain, happy Halloween, and blessed Samhain, and I hope you're doing something amazing. My kids and their friends are all off to frolic at the pumpkin patch. So, but before they left, I got an incredible gift, and I'm very excited to show it to you. I know virtually nothing about it. I've seen it once, but that was a while back, and it wasn't a long look. So this is, wait, I got to turn it over to tell you, the Geomantic Visions set. Geomantic Visions is a set of 20 coins created by James R. Eads. He's the one that did the Prisma Visions and Cosma Visions, that, you know, tarot decks where you can lay the suit out and it makes one continuous picture. Makes my heart go pitter-pat. Within this box are 16 coins representing the geomantic figures, as well as an additional 4 coins for each of the elements. Also included is an 80-page guidebook on beginners geomancy. So geomancy means reading the earth, and this is from 2021. I'm surprised it's that old, but how active have I been? This is the first edition, and my darling little surrogate daughter, Daria, wait, something's wacky here, gave this to me as a gift, and oh my goodness. So here we have this lovely box. Here's the book, Geomantic Visions, and look, da, 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 da. I will certainly zoom in on these when we get going. So 16 coins, did they say? Yes. And they're double-sided. Are they? Oh no, that's the back, and that's the front. Okay, I'm gonna go to the book. Go to the book first. But they're beautiful. They are beautiful. Okay, let's set them aside and take a look. So we have Geomantic Beginnings, Geomancy and the Elements, How to Use the Coins, the Geomantic Figures, Traditional Geomancy, Astrological Geomancy, and Continuing the Journey, and then a bibliography. So here's the introduction. I want to preface this book with a big thank you. Geomantic Visions was a dream of mine. Okay, wait. For a while, but because of the Cosma Visions Kickstarter backers, this dream was fast-tracked to a reality. Geomancy is one of the oldest forms of divination. It has been traced back to Arabic texts from the 6th century, but it has likely existed much longer. Yeah. It was widely used in medieval times and has since evolved through the centuries, gaining and losing public attention, yet still the bones of geomancy have remained the same throughout time. The bones of geomancy is the earth, literally. This book is meant to serve you as an initial step into the world of geomancy, but if you wish to continue your journey, it should not serve as a definitive guide. I consulted many books and sources while learning geomancy as well as writing this book. This book is a simplified summation of what I've learned and something I wish I had when I was beginning my journey. Within it, you will find the basics of geomancy, how to do traditional geomantic reading, an exploration of the geomantic shield, and a brief introduction into astrological geomancy, but there are many other facets to geomancy that will not be covered in the book. At the end, I've listed my sources and recommendations. Okay, I didn't really have to read that whole thing. The difference between tarot, so this is the basics of geomancy. The difference between tarot and geomancy was first described to me as this. Geomancy will help you answer a yes or no question, while tarot will tell you what is happening in your subconscious world. I later learned, okay, that's interesting. I later learned that this wasn't quite so much the case, but it did help to understand the idea behind geomancy. You know, I think the same thing with cartomancy. Anything that maybe is, you know, mancy is I want an answer rather than just an insight. What I later came to realize is that geomancy reveals to us the possible outcomes of a quesited situation in the timeline we are currently living in. It assumes that the intertwined fates of this outcome are already in play and that it is the truth of the future. Now, while this does put into question the idea of free will, nothing is unchangeable. If change is desired, it can be created. Geomancy is an extremely old form of divination that was used much more widely in the past. Okay, so intertwined fates are already in play and is the truth of the future. Now, I think you can do fortune telling and cartomancy and geomancy without going into predeterminism. And you do that by putting the caveat, if things stay as they are now, if things continue on the path they're on, you know. So geomancy is an extremely old form of divination that was used much more widely in the past. Throughout time, geomancers have used different methods to divine answers about the future. They were often consulted for a variety of questions on how to approach future decisions. The name geomancy is derived from the Latin earth magic. One early method of geomancy was to use a stick to make marks in the dirt or sand. This later developed to a pen and paper. See, there's the wand. And has even pen and paper, and has even been substituted with the roll of dice or a draw of coins. Okay, editing. The 16 geomantic coins are here for you as an added system of symbolism to help understand and memorize the 16 geomantic figures. It's important for you to know how to do geomancy in the traditional sense so you can better understand the roots of the craft. The coins will add an extra layer of understanding to your practice. So, before we go into the symbolism, here are a few suggested uses. The 4 elemental coins come in handy when beginning to learn how the figures are assembled. Each coin is two-sided. On one side is the single element, 1 dot, fire, air, water, or earth, and on the other side is the element doubled, 2 dots. Take the 4 coins out of the box and toss them around in your cupped hands. Okay, we're just going to go. I'm not going to read this whole book, I promise you. They'd come after me if I did, but we're going to get... I'm not worried about time, let's put it that way. 1 dot and 2 dot. Oh, I see. So 1 figure. So we've got a tree, and on the other side we've got 2 trees. All right, so you take the 4 coins and toss them around in your hands. Focus on the question. When you're ready, toss them on a table. The first toss is what will create the first mother in your geomantic shield. Remember, the order of elements is always fire, air, water, earth. Why? That's not an order that makes any sense to me. Because in astrology, if you follow the signs from Aries, it goes fire, earth, air, water. And if you do the wheel, it's fire, water, earth, air. And it's I thought they were going Widdershins, fire, air, but then that would be earth, water, and they're going water, earth. Why? Sad. Okay, new system, just stop and go. Stop and go. Okay, repeat this toss 3 more times to create the second, third, and fourth mothers. Okay. Toss them on a table. Formation of the mothers will be covered in the section on the geomantic shield. The 16 geomantic beings. Those 16 coins can also be used to cast the mothers. To do so, pull all the 16 coins into a satchel, bag, or hat and draw at random to cast the mothers and begin your shield. Omit the 4 elemental coins. If you will be using this method, you will want to make sure that with each draw you place the coins back in, as it's possible to have a repeating figure show up as the mothers. Be sure to put clear intentions. Travel with them as manifestations as a general tool for learning geomancy. All right. The 16 geomantic figures have remained the same throughout time. The names have been adapted to different languages, but the root meaning of each is the same. In this book, we'll be using the original Latin names. Now, if you may be thinking that 16 possibilities don't offer much variation compared to something like tarot, but each geomantic figure represents many different things. Each figure is associated with an astrological sign, a planet, an elemental structure, the physical attributes of a person, and a part of the body. Each of the 16 figures have a full page dedicated to their meanings within this book. What's interesting about geomancy that is unlike most other forms of divination. There's no set ordering to the figures. Some geomancers prefer to order them based on their elemental makeup. Others order them based on their planets and astrological signs. I've chosen to order them alphabetically for educational purposes. That's nice. The geomantic figures represent all of the possible combinations of dots in lines of 1 or 2. For example, you can see that Populus includes all 8 dots, while Via contains only 4. Every figure in between those two contain variations of 1 or 2 dots in each line. It's kind of like the I Ching, where it moves up through, solid and not solid. It's a binary. Populus, Via, Acquisitio, Albus, Amicio, Caput Draconis, Carcer. These are names. Caput Draconis is the lion's head, or the dragon's head. That's the north node. Okay, Carcer, Cauda Draconis, lion's. What in the hell? Dragon's tail. Conjunctio, Fortuna Major, Fortuna Minor, Letitia, Populus, Puella, Puer, Rubius, Tristitia, and Via. Those are the 16. Below is another way to order, where you're taking one and then flipping it. Okay. In the first box, we have Acquisitio and Amicio. Acquisitio stands for gain, and Amicio stands for loss. So they're opposite. Flip, flip. And next is Rubius and Albus, red and white. Then Carcer and Conjunctio, incarceration, connection. These figures are met in balance as they both deal with mobility and growth. So incarceration, Carcer represents being stuck in one place. Conjunctio represents where 2 paths or people meet together. The fourth is Fortuna Major, great fortune, and Fortuna Minor, minor fortune. The fifth is Tristitia. Tristitia? Is that sadness? Yes, sorrow. And Letitia is joy. This is head of dragon, tail of dragon. Represents endings, beginnings, endings. I'm going to go back up to red and white, Rubius and Albus. White, red stands for many dark things, and white is light things, peace and illumination. Rubius is unfavorable in most cases, can be seen as violent, so blood, yes, and chaotic. On the other hand, Albus is for wisdom, but is weak and passive. All right. The 6th box, still we saw that. In the 7th, we have Puer and Puella, the balance of sexuality and beauty. Puer, the boy, represents male energy. Puella, the girl, is female. Finally, in the last box, Populus and Via, the people, is the most passive figure, simply represents a lot of something, whereas Via, the way, is the most active. Change and movement. Favorable and unfavorable. Okay, so we have lists of acquisition. Fortuna Major, Letitia, and Joy are favorable. Albus, Fortuna Minor, Puella, and Caput Draconis is mostly favorable. Conjunctio, where did that one come in? Carcer and Conjunctio, of course, is connection. Carcer is incarceration, so standing still or, all right. Puer, Populus, Via are neutral. Carcer and Amicio are mostly unfavorable. Rubius, Tristitia, and Cauda Draconis are unfavorable. I have to say, it's with only 16 and chunking them down like that into pairs and then into categories, it makes it very easy. Stable and unstable. Stable is Dragon's Head, Caput Draconis, Carcer, Acquisitio, which is gain, right? Acquisition, gaining. I just want to go for the words he's using. Okay. Caput Draconis, Carcer, Acquisitio, Albus, Populus, Fortuna Major, Puella, and Tristitia are stable, and all the rest of them are unstable. Cauda Draconis, Rubius, Puer, Fortuna Minor, Letitia, Amicio, Via, and Conjunctio are unstable. The elements: fire, air, water, earth. Each line in the structure represents a part of the body. Fire is the head, air is the neck and throat, water is the body, earth is the feet. Okay? Let me see. A geomantic figure is made of 4 lines, each line represented by a different element, and always falls in this order. Okay, so that's why we have them in that order, because of the connection with the body. Now that I have something to connect it to, I get it. Okay, a combination. Each of the 16 figures, geomantic figures, has a combination of these elements in a passive or active presence. Figures are composed of 4 lines of dots. Each line can have either 1 or 2 dots. 1 is active, 2 is passive. That tracks. Okay. Many geomancers will recommend you really learn and study each of them before conducting your first reading. It's important to not only know what the figures represent, but also understand how they interact with each other. Casting the shield is the terminology for the act of beginning a reading. The geomantic shield acts as your chart, similar to a spread of cards. Each shield is unique and thorough. From this shield we can make many connections and correlations, as well as overarching things. There are a total of 15 figures present in a geomantic shield. These figures change depending on your reading. Not all of the figures are present in each shield. Sometimes a figure will repeat multiple times. As you become more familiar with geomancy, you will start to notice patterns. This is why I didn't remember any of it from the first time, because I started looking through and went, oh shit, this is going to take study. Okay. As you become more familiar with geomancy, you'll start to notice patterns and even be able to predict what figures will show up further down the shield. Certain combinations of figures will always produce the same results. It's like he's telling me things, but I don't know what he's talking about. I can't retain what he's telling me. What's especially unique with geomancy is that except for the first 4 figures in the shield, all the figures in the shield are created from the ones that came before. It asks the geomancer to focus on the craft, check their work and math carefully. Okay. The 16 beings in the geomantic figures. So now we go through, and you know what? I think I may just, I'm going to take them out of the box, but I'm going to show you the figures with this, because, oh, it says on the back, Acquisitio. There's the coin. Here's the figure. Gain, planet Jupiter, sign Sagittarius, body, hips, and thighs. I'm assuming this is fire. Oh, okay, so here we go. So this is how the elements stack up for this figure. We have 2 fire, 1 air, 2 water, and 1 earth. Fire is passive, and earth is active. Now see, if I had to take one of either earth or water, the so-called passive receptive elements, and make one active, water would be the active one. And they've got, so I have to forget every system I know. Okay, so there's just 1 page for each one. So let's just look at them. Acquisitio albus, this is illumination. Mercury, Gemini, body, shoulders, and lungs. Amicio, loss. She's got kind of this bird. Okay, now I want to look at the, I know that I have to pull each one out. So we've got, let me bring in a little bit. There, you can see them closer now. So we can see with the first one, I mean, big fire. He's got his head's on fire. He's holding a lantern. He's in the middle, looks like in the middle of water going across a stream. We've got 3 little flames in the lantern. He's holding a book. There's a waning moon. There's all kinds of symbolism here. Then we had albus, so we've got this waxing crescent on his head, all of these white lotuses and clouds, and a sun staff. And then a Misio, loss. Planet says Venus retrograde. The sign is Taurus, neck and throat. Got like a bird face or a mask, but she's holding her wings. It looks like Mount Fuji. Carcer. Ooh. So we have this multi-faced being here, and he's being held fast by this tree that's grown around him. Restriction. Saturn, of course, Saturn retrograde, Capricorn, knees and bones. Caput Draconis is beginnings. The planet is the moon, the north node, which is the Caput Draconis. Interesting. Sign is Sag, the right arm, and you can see here fire, and then air, water, earth. This is going to confusticate my head a little bit. But look at this, kind of a dinosaurish, werewolfish thing shedding something. Beginnings. There's the dragon's tail, Draconis, Cauda Draconis, endings, south node, Virgo, left arm. Wow, that's specific. So here's the dragon's tail. Somebody with a wand here. Conjunctio's connection. Look at this. We've got hands and feet. We've got wings and branches and snakes and birds and a big cloud and a moon and just a tangle in the middle. So connection, yeah. Mercury retrograde, Virgo, digestive system. Fortuna major, greater fortune. Northern sun, Leo, heart and chest. And we've got just an eyeball on a really strange looking neck. Look at all the little sprouts. There's lots of sprouts that I noticed in other ones. Fortuna minor, lesser fortunes. The southern sun, Leo, and the spine. Look at the upturned cups. Strong sunlight. Laetitia, joy. And the lotus comes back. Jupiter retrograde, Pisces in the feet. Then we have Populus, the many. Waxing moon, Cancer. The breast and torso. Look at the people. Puella, the girl. Harmony, Venus and Libra. Okay, so harmony is Puella. Puer is action. See, I wish, well, okay, Venus and Libra, she's dancing. You know, you see things kind of swirling together. Look at all these little sprouts again. Things kind of going sploot, sploot. Okay. Puer, Mars, Aries, the head. We got Sumo. There's a tournament in November. Yay. And there's Fuji again. Interesting. Rubius. Violence. Mars retrograde, Scorpio, the reproductive system, excretory system, and gentials. Gentials rather than genitals. Editing. Okay. Wow. You definitely get vibes of some tribal ishness. Justitia, sorrow. Saturn, the sign is Aquarius, the lower legs and ankles. Floating in a boat. Via is change. The waning moon, Cancer in the stomach. Change, so you get that kind of Yi Jing vibe there. And then we have traditional geomancy, how to cast and read. So casting a shield. A geomantic shield pictured above is formed based on a query or a question you're asking. A geomantic figure will fill each of the 15 boxes in the shield. Geomancy is meant to prepare, I hope you don't hear my stomach growling, but if you did, good for you. Geomancy is meant to prepare your mind and soul for what answers it may reveal and to open your heart to new possibilities. Like all forms of divination, geomancy can be used incorrectly. Before you cast your question, make sure your intentions are pure and it's something you're truly important. Geomancy uses a system of mathematical recursion to develop every figure in the shield based on the previous symbols. Uh-oh. This means that everything in the shield is dependent on what came before it, and now here comes the frickin' math. What the hell? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. In a geomancy, only the first 4 figures are generated by the geomancer, and the rest of the shield is constructed based on the beginning 4 figures. Once you've determined your question, it's important to write it down along with the date so you can look back. Remember to phrase it in a yes or no format. Once you have your question, it's time to begin your reading. I prefer to draw the shield myself, during which I think about what I'm asking and why. Okay. If you prefer to use a template, there are a few shields included in the Cosmovision's Regressions Journal. I don't have the journal. Okay. When you're ready, close your eyes, focus your intention question. When it's clear, take a deep breath, and with a pen and pencil, begin making marks on your sheet of paper in the 16 rows shown in Figure 1. What the hell? Stop when you feel it's time to stop and move on to the next line. Clear your mind so you're not counting the lines in each row. Feel the energy of the question. Focus on your connection. Fascinating. Generally, you want to make 9 or more marks on each line to be sure you're not counting lines. Once you've completed 16 lines of strokes, you'll count them off and assign each row as odd or even, depending on if there are 1 or 2 strokes left. Okay. Count them off, assign each as odd or even. Could you just flip a coin? It's kind of like with the Yi Jing. You know, they give you coins because to do it the traditional way with the yarrow sticks is a lot like this. And that's geomancy. You know, it's a complicated thing. Okay, so once you do them, they're making these little pairs like H's. See how there's all the single lines, and then they're just drawing these little things. And the last thing in the line here is a 1, a 1, a pair. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So you do all these ones in pairs. And then you're putting dots. So you have the sets of 4, and they make those 4 lines, and that's what gives you the coin. Okay. These 4 figures are known as the mothers. Now it's time to place your mothers into your shield, and the mothers go here. Okay. Everyone will draw a geomantic shield a little differently, but throughout all shields, these things must remain the same. The top row has to have 8 boxes. In geomancy, we move right to left. So here's the first 4. Okay, it's crucial you take your time when assembling the mothers, since these figures will determine the outcome. This might be a thing where I just look at it like this on this video and then do an actual reading another time. I feel like I'm going to need to work with it first. Okay, the left 4 boxes next to the mothers are called the daughters and are formed from the mothers. The second row must contain 4 boxes. These are called the nieces. I like the feminine quality of it. The third row must contain 2 boxes. These are the witnesses, so I guess those are these 2. And the 4th row must contain only 1 box. This is the judge. On the following few pages, a more in-depth breakdown on how to assemble a shield. If you get lost, it's recommended to begin again and be sure you didn't make a mistake. Okay. Yoicks. The daughters are made from the mothers by taking each line of dots and creating a figure from that line. All of the heads are the fire elements, the top line in each mother, are added to create the first daughter. So I think you translate this horizontal row into a vertical row of 1, 2, 3, 4. Then all of the necks are added to form the second daughter. All right. The nieces are the 4 boxes on the second row, and they're made from the mothers and the daughters. First niece is made of a combination of mother 1 and mother 2. If the number of dots is even in a line, then the niece will have 2 dots in that line. 2. 2. If the number of dots is odd, it becomes 1. So that's adds up to 3, so that's a 1. That one adds up to 3, it's a 1. Third niece is made from a combination of daughter 1 and daughter 2. Okay, wait. Mothers and daughters. First niece is mother 1 and mother 2. Second niece is mother 3 and mother 4. Third niece, daughter 1, daughter 2. Fourth niece, daughter 3 and 4. The witnesses are formed from the 4 nieces in the same method, just evens and odds. It's getting simpler as I go here. And then the judge is the final figure and rests at the bottom. It's the accumulation of all the figures in the chart. Okay. The judge can only be formed from an even number of points since it's the sum of both sides of the geomantic shield. So this means only 8 of the 16 figures can end up being the judge. It's a good way to check if you did your math right. That didn't make any sense to me. Possible judges are Populus, Via, Amicio, Acquisitio, Carcer, Conjunctio, Fortuna Major, and Fortuna Minor. So all the even numbered ones. Okay. All these figures are balanced and have an even number of dots present. You'll notice some of these figures are favorable and some are unfavorable, but for the most part they're neutral or partial, require more explanation. This is when we turn to the witnesses and look to the rest of the shield. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm hitting the wall, but I feel like I've got that much under my belt. And now it's going to take a reading. Wow. And we've got houses, astrological houses. Okay, so we had, yeah. And the witnesses, 4 triplicities, the way of the points, astrological geomancy, modes of perfection. Wow. I think these are the houses. Yes. Adding to the story. Continue your geomantic journey, and then bibliography and references. Okay. And that's that. They don't give a sample reading at all. The judge is the figure. Okay. So we go, I guess we have to read this. When you are unsure of the ruling of the judge or want to better understand the outcome. So remember, we're asking a yes or no question and doing all of this to get the answer. It's important to turn to the 2 witnesses. If the judge is favorable and the 2 witnesses are also favorable, it only makes the outcome more favorable. The opposite is true. When an unfavorable judge and 2 unfavorable witnesses, the ruling is certainly unfavorable. If the judge is neutral and the two witnesses are favorable, it will pull the ruling in one direction. If all three are neutral, it's time to look deeper into the shield. Okay, so you work your way up. Each witness affects the shield differently. And you look at these combinations of dots. So yes, they are all okay, they were saying that the judge can only be one of 8, the even numbered ones. But I would think that we get all kinds of things up here. Amisio, conjunctio, yeah, via. So, each witness affects the shield differently. When the right witness, a symbol of the querent and the past, is favorable, when the right witness, a symbol of the querent and the past. So, the witnesses. It tells you how to get them, but where does it show me that the right witness is a symbol for the querent and the past? That's bumming me out. Okay, I guess this is where I learned that. If that's favorable, it suggests the person asking the question is in a good position. When it's unfavorable, it suggests they're in an unfortunate position. The figure that takes the form of the right witness also weighs into the reading and describes the querent's state of mind. Okay. The left witness, a symbol of the future and the situation at hand. The relationship between the two witnesses should also be looked at. An unfavorable right witness followed by a favorable left witness suggests the situation will improve. Below is the example shield that we generated on the previous page. There wasn't a question in my mind, but say we were asking about taking a job offer. Okay, so they give me the left and the right witness, but these two don't mean something themselves? Okay. The reconciler, is an optional 16th position that's usually written to the side of the shield. The reconciler can offer information on how the outcome will affect the querent. It's formed by taking the figure in the position of Mother 1 and the judge and adding them together. In the above example, we would take the judge and the first mother, and we get Rubius, another indicator taking this job may not be advised. Okay. 4 triplicities. The first triplicity is the person asking the question, their health and their general outlook. Second represents current events that are affecting the situation. Okay, now I like this. Third, environmental surrounding the querent, their workplace and family. Fourth is querent's close friends as well as those that have authority. So that's different than the witnesses. The triplicities are broken down as shown below. When looking at the triplicities, we treat the two mothers as the two witnesses and the nieces as the judge in this situation. The nieces will be here. The mothers are here. No, those are the daughters. Two mothers as the two witnesses and the nieces as the judge. That's confusing. The wave points is a good method to employ when you want to find hidden influence. Trace the figures that are linked upwards with the same fire line. 1, 1, 1, 1. If the fire line of the figure has a single dot, you can try to trace the way of the points upwards through figures that have until you can't anymore. This really needed some editing. I'm sorry. It's an independent tool, and so you don't have an editor from a publisher. to do the reading, and that wasn't even a whole sentence. And with something this complicated, Mr. Eads, I really think you need another editor. So, what's three figures that have one dot, a single dot, until you can't anymore? Okay, you may be able to trace it back to the mothers. You may end on the witnesses or nieces. Actually, that one ended on a daughter. The ending points. Okay. At the ending points are where you can establish the hidden influence. In the example below, we can trace the way of the points all the way to the 8th position occupied by Amicio to understand what this means. So if that was 2, you could follow this up to there. And that's the only way you can follow 2 through each of these to there. Okay. Whew. Then we have astrological geomancy, and you know what? I'm going to leave that for you to discover. So, 40 minutes, and I can't really do a reading until I spend some super duper 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 deep time on this. Okay, you know what? I'm going to do something quick here, because I don't know why you couldn't. We've got single and double for each of these. And so if you shake them up and you throw them down and then you put them as fire, air, water, earth, then we can look at what coin that makes. So a yes or no question for Samhain. Holy shit, you guys. I'm thinking. I'm really thinking here. Yeah. I'm thinking. Okay, here's what I'm going to ask. Will the United States of America still be in structure, in, constitution, legality, operation, function? Will the United States of America still be the United States of America in 2030? And I know that this is a gift and I need to do a reading for the gifter. Crap. See, the thing is, I don't have their permission to ask like a personal question for a yes or no thing. And I'd really like to know, since we're looking at this as geomancy and a definitive answer, I don't want to ask a question that they don't want answered. So I'm going to continue on the track I'm continuing on. Will the United States of America still be the United States of America, not just in name, but in function, in spirit, in constitution, everything else, as a democracy, a functioning democracy in 2030? This is fire is 2, air is 1, water and earth is at the bottom. So what does this give us? We've got 2, 1, 2, 2. And now we get to go just leafing through to find out because it doesn't show us on the coin. I wish it did. I wish these coins had, you know, because we've got dots on the back, I wish they showed the dot pattern. Okay, 2122. 2 1 2 1 2 2. Rubeus. Violence. Planet Mars, retrograde, sign Scorpio, body, the reproductive system, excretory system, and genitals. Genitals. How appropriate is that? Holy crap. Fire is passive, air is active, water is passive, earth is passive. The fighter slides his feet. Okay, let's show you the fighter. Where is he? Where is the fighter? The fighter, there he is. The image does definitely look different when you're looking at it as a relief rather than a print picture. Okay, the fighter slides his feet across the forest floor, knocking over a goblet and spilling its contents. Behind the fighter, tormenting demons emerge, sending him into a drunken rage. So this clearly is an unfortunate coin. Yeah, Rubeus is unfavorable. Yeah, okay. Latin for the red. Rubeus is figure of violence and vices. It is generally unfavorable, and especially so when it shows up in the first position. Okay, well, we're not doing positions. It can represent anger and bloodshed, but also passion. Rubeus is favorable in situations that ask about sexuality, violence, and aggression, but unfavorable in all other situations. Now, if I had asked, will there be an actual civil war or American Revolution, then that would have been favorable, a yes. But since I didn't, it's a no. It is good that is in all evil. Okay. It is the good that is in all evil and the evil that is in all good. That could take some pondering. Rubeus reminds us of the darker side of life. The formation of dots resembles an overturned goblet. Oh, okay. Rubeus is strengthened in the 8th house and weakened in the 2nd, and that's all we get. I'm going to ask another one that way. I'm going to ask one for Daria. Oh, yeah, you know what? I know what I'm going to do. Daria, this is for whatever question you want to ask. I'm not going to know the question. So when you watch this, formulate a question in your head and focus, okay? Whoops. So, what is the answer to Daria's question? What is the answer to Daria's question? I'm not letting them drop. I'm not going to do them until I dump them all. What is the answer? Hold on. You know what I didn't do? I didn't bless these. Holy crap. What is the answer to the question Daria has in her heart? What is the answer to the question that Daria has? Okay, we have 1, 1, 1, 2. One, 1, 1, 2 seems pretty stable, if you ask me. 1, 1, 1, 2, Cauda Draconis endings. So we're looking at Cauda Draconis is also unfavorable. South node, moon, sign is Virgo, left arm. The composer conducts the tale. Okay. There we go. The composer conducts the tale of the dragon in a playful dance, but at any moment it could end his life. Latin for tale of the dragon, cauda draconis is an unfavorable figure when dealing with beginnings, but can be favorable when wanting something to end. Pain, a relationship, debt. Okay. So, favorable when wanting something to end. But see, you know, when they talked about the favorable and the unfavorable, all right. Let's just keep reading. Many geomancers will stop a reading if cauda draconis appears in the first position of the shield, indicating that the outcome has already been decided by the querent. It's at the end. It is favorable with unfavorable figures and unfavorable with favorable ones. So it's a reversal. The formation of dots resembles the tail of a dragon, and cauda draconis reminds us that at the end is the beginning again. The figure is strengthened in the 9th house and weakened in the 3rd. Okay. And you know what? I didn't do a blessing, so I'm going to do a blessing. Sorry, my thread is attacking me. Oh, thank heaven I have a charcoal. And then let me back up a little bit. You tell I'm kind of out of practice in doing what I do. Yes. All right. Oh my goodness. Mitchie and Pie Wagon. Meow meow. All right. Let's, you know what, I'm going to take them out of the box. They need to come out of their box. It's just such a different system. You know, it's kind of like you got the amulets of the goddess and things like that that you put in a bag. And I like this. I like things that go clicky clanky. The coins themselves are, they feel like solid brass. They're heavy, they're hefty. Look how thick they are. So it's definitely a quality product, as are his others. And I have to say, Mr. Eads, you know, the editorial complaints notwithstanding, you have a wonderful mind. He thinks about things in a really interesting way. The fact that there are decks that you can put together and they make a picture just thrills me no end. Okay. By Air and Fire, may this tool be purified and charged. Let's get the box too. The box is beautiful. Okay. By Water and Earth, may you be blessed and made whole. And by the sound of the bell, ooh, that was harsh, sorry. May the spirit within you awaken. All right. One more go, Daria. One more question, baby girl. It's windy. It's been a beautiful day. It's been autumn cloudy. It rained all day yesterday. It's autumn cloudy and color is in full swing, and we're getting a beautiful autumn that I didn't even dare hope for because of the drought we were having. But it's gorgeous. So, okay. Daria, if you want to ask the same question, ask the same question. If not, change it. But we're just going to do it with these 4 again. I was going to say, each of you ask your own question too, but how in the hell would that work? I don't know. I mean, why wouldn't it work? Okay. What is the answer to the question in Daria's heart? All right, now we have 1, 2, 1, 1. 1, 1, 2, 1, 1 is Puella. Harmony. Okay. Venus, Libra, kidneys, lower back, butt, and skin. He actually says butt. That's cool. The elementalist dances on the surface of the water. Where is she? Where, oh where? Where are you? That's her. Okay. Here. Hi, baby. I hear you. It doesn't want to focus because it's shiny. There we go. Okay. Hi, baby. Where are you? I like it. Where did you go? Honest to God, you guys, he just disappeared. You heard him, right? He was back here talking to me. And then he booked it. Okay. All right. Well, you know what? I offer you fresh water. Man, I'm out of shape here. And the fire of Azrael. Guides and guardians, allies and ancestors, thank you for being here on this Samhain. I honor you. I bless you. I love you. I send you love. And I give you these offerings. Okay. Now, the elementalist dances on the surface of the water as she channels the world around her into beautiful harmony. Latin for the girl, Puella is a figure of harmony and beauty. It represents the feminine and is good in most situations involving friendship, love, and beauty. Puella is unfavorable in situations requiring conflict or aggression, and much like Fortuna Major, is a temporary figure requiring conflict and aggression. Okay. So if you're saying, will I win the fight? This is unfavorable. Puella can be an unfavorable in situations where stability and longevity are desired. Puella is balanced by Puer and reminds us of the inner harmony in things. The formation of dots resembles the symbol for Venus. Puella is strengthened in the 7th house and weakened in the 1st. Okay. Okay. Well, I made it through. It's an hour, and I made it through. All in the wrong order and everything, but now I'm gonna play. It's Samhain, and what a wonderful day to dedicate each and every one of these gorgeous coins and learn how to do geomancy. Wow. Oop, a little bit more. Hi, baby. There you are. What's up, Pawacket? What are you doing, boo? What you doing, baby? What are you doing? I know what you want. I wish you could see him. He's my baby. I'm not even going to try to pick him up because he weighs 20 pounds. And ouch. So anyway, thank you so much, Daria, for this. And I would love to hear from other people that have this set. And if you're using it, how you're using it, how it's working for you. I think I'm going to have to do like some short-term things or some obvious answer things so I can get the vibe of how it really works and gives answers. You have to have something short-term so you can tell if it's working for you or not. But as is the case with these kinds of things, it's like with Lenormand. I was throwing some Lenormands for my daughter a while back, and I had them laid out, and I'm answering the question, and she's like, or this one can mean, it's like, no, stop. This is cartomancy. You don't do that. You look for the answer. The card means what it means. No. No interpretation, no opportunity to kind of twist and bend. You just look at it and that's your answer, and then you stop. So that's like, with these cartomancy, ask the question, get your answer, stop. So, but I'm very curious what you guys think. Very, very curious. And then, I want to put them in a grid of 16 again, because that's what they do. I wish there was an easier way to look them up by dots, and I might have to add that maybe in the front of the book, because we've got, do we have yeah, we've got a table of contents, and it might be a really useful thing to just have all 16 dot patterns and what they are, and not in alphabetical order, but like, here's all 4 single dots, and then 1 1 1 2 1 1 2 2 1 1 1 2 2 2, like that. Have them switch like the I Ching. So anyway, it was good to hang out with you. I came this close to a live last night, but I couldn't. So I miss you, and I will see you soon, and I wish for you just, what are you doing? All the amazing things that you deserve for this Samhain. I wish for you to be unburdened by what? Can I pick you up? That's a bad place for your tail to be, bud. You know that? Come here. Come here. Come on. Come on. Can't. Yeah, I can't. He's going to put my shoulder out. He almost let me do it. He did. Oh, fuck. So, I wish for you an unburdening, and that in this death time of year, anything that you need to go away goes away. And if you're on the other side, for Beltane, I hope that everything that you need can come in for you. All right? It's good hanging out with you. I'll see you next time. And until then, this is Luna. Blessed be.